Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Triple N Media. I am NIK NIKAM. In this presentation, we are going to look at in Lightroom how the pictures turn up when using Nikon D750 with f1.8 85mm prime lens. So here are some of the pictures that I was able to take today. We're going to look at some of them in detail and see what kind of settings we had so that we can learn something. I have also made another video of Houston Science Museum where you can go and check that one also. So let us start with some of these pictures as we can see. Okay, here's a picture which was taken using my Nikon D750 with the f1.8 prime lens. Let's look at some of the details here. This is ISO of 200. All these pictures were taken with no flash, ISO of 200 fixed or less, and then this was set at the f2.2 and 1/20th of a second. This was handheld actually. And let's look at another picture here. Here's another picture. These pictures were taken and cropped so the frames don't show up. And this one was at 85mm, f2.2, 1/20th of a second. So we can get excellent pictures with the Nikon prime lens with the f1.8, 85mm. And here's another picture. And this one was at 85mm. That means I was quite a distance from this picture. As you can see, the timing was 1/30th of a second. Here's another one which is f2.2 at 1/30th of a second, 85mm. So for most of these I was quite a distance from the picture itself. And another thing I want to point out is that some editing has been done by like increasing the contrast, increasing the highlights, and decreasing some of the shadows to make it look a little more dramatic, or what I should say, like picturesque. And here's another beautiful picture here. You can see the depth of this picture. And this one is at again 85mm, ISO of 200, f2.2, 1/20th of a second. These were all taken with handheld camera, no stand, nothing. Here's another picture. You can see this one as again 85mm, 1/30th of a second. So I am really pleased with this camera as far as its capability of taking fantastic pictures. Especially, see, I've been trying to use this technology of portrait photography settings like ISO of 64, f2.2 or 2.8, and then using available light or minimum light. And you can see obviously we have beautiful pictures. This one was again at 1/15th of a second, 85mm, quite a distance. And this one was again 85mm, 1/15th of a second, handheld. I think if we just brace the camera against our face tightly, we should be able to take it without making too much blur. And this is a picture taken again at 85mm, 1/40th of a second, f2.2. Here's another one here, f2.2, 1/40th of a second, 85mm. You get the idea. See, now let's look at some nature pictures here. And this is as 1/40th of a second, f2.2, ISO of 200. Look at this bullfight here. Man, look at that. This is 1/25th of a second, f2.2, ISO 85mm. And these are some of the busts. And this one, there's a lot of reflection because it's polished metal, 1/25th of a second. And here's a real nice colorful picture, 1/30th of a second, f2.2, 85mm. I use 2.2, I could use 1.8, but I ran into a problem when I was in the Science Museum when they had different depths of objects. So if I focus on the front row, the back row would be like out of focus like a bouquet. But since these are all pictures, it is not an issue. But like here, you can see that this one is in focus and this is out of focus. This one has 1/30th of a second. Even with f2.2, these are out of focus, while this one is in focus. So I think that's one of the things we need to be cognizant of when we are using a f1.8 or 2.2 lens aperture size, because you are going to get blurring of the background objects. And this is another one at 1/40th of a second, f2.2, 85 millimeters, quite a distance from the object. And this is another flower vase, which is 1/80th, because there was some surrounding light. It was 1/80th of a second. Let me see some of these things here. And this one was from quite a distance. This is 1/25th of a second, f1.8 and 85 millimeters. So you get the idea. I think the museum is the best place to try your prime lens, because you can take close-up pictures, or you can take quite a distance. You can take pictures from quite a distance. As you can see, look at this picture. Maybe slight blurring here. This is 1/25th of a second, f1.8. I'm 85 millimeters. That means I'm quite a distance from the wall where it is. And look at this chair here. Look at the color contrast we see. Of course, some correction has been done using the Lightroom. This is 1/8 of a second, because the lighting was so dull there. f1.8, 85 millimeters, and you can see the contrast and the chair here. This one was like 3 screens, actually 3 television screens, I think, separated by bars. And let's see here. This was really dull. I had to increase the exposure in my Lightroom. 1/25th of a second, f1.8, 85 millimeters. Still, we are getting the beautiful, nice sheen and the color contrast in the background. Unfortunately, museums, I don't know why they make beige background, because that's the worst possible background you can possibly have, because that's not going to give very good contrast. And here's the fruit tray, and this is spectacular, I should say. It's 1/30th of a second, f1.8. But still, most of these things seem to be in focus, despite f1.8, but I'm 85 millimeters from this particular image. And let's look at some of the other ones here. Here's another one. And of course, I had to trim all these edges to look presentable. I love this one. Look at the contrast and the depth of this one, going all the way to the sky, to the mountains, to the people here in the valley. And this one has 1/30th of a second, f2.2 and 85 millimeters, ISO 200. So you get the idea. And where is this little fish? Look at this fish. They look so lively. So I think f1.8, 85 millimeters can do a whole lot of things, but you need to have room to move around, and also you need to have a good camera to back it up. Anyway, you get the idea. I hope this has been useful to you. Thank you so much for watching, and please do subscribe to our channel, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.